So today I'm here to talk about the top 10 most important NFL draft picks this year, just according to the stats and the team relevance. So first off on my list is defensive back out of Notre Dame, Kyle Hamilton. He went to the Baltimore Ravens this year, and the Baltimore Ravens defense is just very hurt. It got I believe they were like the third most injured team last season, and in addition to their defense, Kyle Hamilton is going to be a big boost. And a player of his caliber, playing alongside a team that is definitely playoff ready, and it's just going to be a great boost for the Baltimore Ravens, and that's why he is my top pick of this NFL draft with value. He has the most value in this draft. He's going to go into a team that is most likely going to make the playoffs, and he's going to be a big part of that defense, and the reason that their passing defense is going to be lights out. And I believe that was the right pick from the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens had one of the best drafts, but I'm not going to talk about that. The Ravens were the fifth worst team in last season when it comes to passing yards, and Kyle Hamilton is just gonna stop him. Kyle Hamilton also gonna stop in the run game. He came off of his college career with a total of 97 tackles, 8 interceptions, and 1 pick six. The Ravens defense just desperately needed this addition, and it's definitely going to be an interesting addition to their defense, and ready to see him play.
7. Lofts it downfield, and that ball is intercepted. That is the All-American Kyle Hamilton.
The second most important pick coming into this draft is going to be Ike Okonkwo, offensive line out of North Carolina State. And he goes to Carolina Panthers, so it's a relatively close place for him. He's going to be at home in North Carolina. And the Carolina Panthers ended up with the most quarterback pressures in the league last season, and they have one of the worst offensive lines. So Ike Okonkwo is going to go into this Panthers offensive line and immediately improve that record. They still don't have the best offensive line, but Ike Okonkwo is definitely going to be a step in the right direction for them. And hopefully they can keep their running back, Christian McCaffrey, healthy for at least most of the season this season. And if they can do that, maybe Matt Corral is going to be a decent quarterback for them. And definitely not the best situation right now for the Carolina Panthers. They might need 1 or 2 more years before they become relevant again. But definitely a step in the right direction for the Carolina Panthers, and definitely a very important pick for the Panthers, and second most important pick in the league.
Couple looks here on the run by Bam.
On to the next one, my third most important pick in the draft is going to be wide receiver Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State. The drafted him with the 11th pick, I believe, and the Jets have almost no wide receiver depth behind Elijah Moore, who they drafted last season. And with their young quarterback and their young wide receiver, now they had another young wide receiver. Their offensive passing game is going to be so young and very fast. And I think if you're going to talk about out of the rookie quarterbacks that were drafted last year, Zach Wilson has the most weapons around him now, and if he doesn't perform over Trevor Lawrence, over Justin Fields, if he doesn't overperform them, I would be genuinely surprised, because Mac Jones, his wide receivers don't have anything. Trevor Lawrence has got a couple key additions, but none of them which are Elijah Moore or Garrett Wilson. You got in Jacksonville, you got Chenault, and then you got Evan Ingram at tight end. I don't see them being more productive than the Jets are this season, and most people are going to sleep on that pick as not very relevant. But now you got to pay attention to the Jets offense, because they also added a running back, Breece Hall, and now they got 2 young running backs. Their whole offense is young, so it's a very good, well planned out by the general manager. And I like to see how their offense plans out, and this is a great pick for them. They had a great draft, and we look forward to watching them.
Stroud again, wide open. Garrett Wilson over the shoulder, touchdown.
My fourth most important pick is another wide receiver. This one out of Arkansas, and he goes to my team, Tennessee Titans, wide receiver Trailn Bares. And this is one of the most talked about draft picks, and is only behind Garrett Wilson by a little bit, just because I think overall the Jets' offense is now way more scarier than the Titans are. And but now the Titans have released A.J. Brown, and that's in one of the biggest trades. I'm not going to go into it, how I feel, because I know I got biased, and I'm not going to go into that much depth about that trade. But we got the 18th pick in the NFL draft, and we took wide receiver Trailn Bares, and he's very similar to A.J. Brown in the way he plays. He can play in the slot. He can play in the outside wide. He's one of the best wide receivers coming out of the draft, and a lot of people are going to sleep on him. But going to the Titans was probably one of his best options, because they know how they use A.J. Brown. And Trailn Bares plays a lot like him. So going into a team that used an A.J. Brown is going to be the best option, because they already know how to work with him. And Trailn Bares is going to go immediately into the system as a wide receiver 2 behind Robert Woods. And Robert Woods is injured prone, so Trailn Bares might actually start off as a wide receiver 1 with Akina and Kyle Phillips behind him. And then just right now he has no competition for the number 2 spot. And he's going to go in and make an immediate impact week 1. And he's just going to make a very important pick for the Titans after releasing A.J. Brown. And we were already very weak at the wide receiver position. We drafted 2 wide receivers, and we added Reggie Robertson, an unrestricted free agent, and he has potential to sign with us. So with Akina there, I'm not too worried about it. We made it work last season, and I'm excited to see how the Titans play with their new offense now.
It's not a long pass, but they have blockers out in front, and once he gives that stiff arm to the defensive back, you are not going to catch him. And
my fifth most important pick is going to be quarterback, the first quarterback in this list, Kenny Picket, quarterback out of Pittsburgh, going to Pittsburgh Steelers. And their quarterback last season is now gone. You all know that. We got Ben Roethlisberger, finally retired after making the playoffs due to an unfortunate decision by the Colts, which we won't talk about how they lost to the Jaguars. And the Pittsburgh, Ben Roethlisberger got one more go, but they had to play the Chiefs. And he's retired now, so they had to find the replacement. They signed Mitchell Trubisky in the offseason, and they went and drafted Kenny Pickett with the 20th overall pick. And I don't know off the top of my head. And he is going to immediately push for that starting job, and I would say he's probably going to get it. Mitchell Trubisky, he's been a backup for a reason. He's only good for one season, really. I wouldn't even say he was good. He was only started because the Bears had nowhere else to do. He went to the Bills and then didn't start there. Now he's with Pittsburgh, and I would say he's going to be the backup again. I have all faith in Kenny Pickett, as Kenny Pickett was the only quarterback drafted in the first round. There was no quarterback drafted in the second round. Both Desmond Ridder and Malik Willis were drafted in the third round. So the NFL teams obviously value Kenny Pickett way higher than them, because Kenny Pickett was the only quarterback drafted in the first round. And
that game they had a 5-day isolation and played 2 more times, all of it on the road. Here's a long ball that's caught. Jalen Barton.
My 6th top overall pick, and this is going to be probably very debatable, but this pick came in the 4th round. So I have running back Damien Pierce out of Florida going to the Houston Texans in the 4th round. This was a very underrated pick. Damien Pierce has the very potential to be a running back 1, and in the 4th round was an amazing pick for the Texans. I can't believe it fell to the 4th round. And the Texans' running back was Rex Burkhead and Phillip Lindsay. So it's gonna immediately go in there, make himself an option. He's got a good hands. He's good speed. He's not the biggest back out there, but he's got the elusiveness. He's out there, and I'd like to see him using the Texans. I think he's a better Phillip Lindsay. He's not as much of a power back as Rex Burkhead has, and Rex Burkhead is a veteran there. He's been relevant for a while. I think Rex Burkhead might be getting it by being in timeshare with Damien Pierce, but Damien Pierce is definitely going to make himself relevant and might end up taking over the job if anything happens to Rex Burkhead. I mean, he might even just straight up take a spot because I think Rex Burkhead is losing it. He's getting slower. He's 31, I believe, and Rex Burkhead is just his time is coming. Damien Pierce is going to be starting running back this year or next year, and this pick is going to be very undervalued. And I think it is one of the most important drafts picks.
37 rushing yards for the Gators. Pierce again, this time kept his footing. Looked like he lost his balance.
My 7th pick is N'Kobe Dean, linebacker out of Georgia. This was a very slept-on player because he fell into the 3rd round when many pros and many analysts had him going early 2nd, late 1st. Like, he has all the potential to be a 1st-round pick. He has all the potential to be a 2nd-round pick, and I don't see why he fell to the 3rd round. And this was a very good steal for the Philadelphia Eagles, who drafted 2 linebackers in this draft, and now they drafted a defensive lineman, and they have a very scary pass rush, and I would like to see them play, man. They look, after this draft, they got A.J. Brown, which is practically a steal. They got Jordan Davis. They got N'Kobe Dean. They look like a very good team right now. And they were a playoff team last season. They lost to the Bucs in the 1st round. But maybe with this pass rush, they can get to Tom Brady and get past the 1st round this year. Let's see.
Oh, and it's intercepted by N'Kobe Dean. Goodbye. Dean is gone. Touchdown, Georgia.
8th overall top pick would be Christian Watson, wide receiver out of North Dakota State. He went to Green Bay, and Green Bay recently traded their wide receiver, Devontae Adams, for like a really huge amount of money because Devontae Adams got like paid like $98 million for guaranteed salary, and this left a big hole open in the wide receiver because Devontae Adams is just a big important piece to their team. Now they left. Now they didn't have a wide receiver there, so now they've got Christian Watson coming in after a booming season. He had 1,200 yards. It was the 1st team in Dakota State. He was first All-American. He had all the stats and all the players. Christian Watson came in the late 1st, and it was definitely decent value there. I had him going a little bit later, but just Green Bay Packers looking really good with Christian Watson there. His speed, he's fast. He's got a good tall jump. He can run slants from the outside. He can run slants from the inside. He's got that post route. I'm just excited to watch him play too. And Christian Watson is going to be a very week 1, a very important player for your fantasy team. Just like Trailn Bares and maybe even Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson might not be as relevant as Trailn Bares and Christian Watson because they also got Elijah Moore there. Christian Watson and Trailn Bares will be one of your best wide receivers for your fantasy team.
Patterson for Watson. He's got it. See you later for the Tampa Tornado.
My 9th pick is going to be another defensive back, Kaiir Elam. He went to the Bills. He's out of Florida, and this is the 2nd Florida player after this draft. So both of those Florida players went to the perfect landing spots. And Kaiir Elam was just going to be a great lockdown corner for a running back. He locked down Georgia, which was a college football national championships last year. But this was a big need for Buffalo, as they could not stop Patrick Mahomes in the passing game last season. In the playoffs, y'all know what happened in the overtime loss. Patrick Mahomes didn't throw an incompletion and went right down the field and threw a touchdown. Even before that, when they had 13 seconds left at their own 20-yard line, and Kansas City managed to score a touchdown in 13 seconds. It's just crazy how bad the Buffalo defensive backs were, and they don't even have bad defensive backs. You got Trey Edmonds there as a linebacker. You got some decent players there, but they could not keep up with the good passing games last season. And Kaiir Elam is going to be a big, important immediate factor. Going to be a quiet X factor for the team in the next couple of years. I would say he's going to be an immediate factor. You give him 2 or 3 years, he's going to be an X factor. He's going to be so good for that Buffalo team. And they're going to be a very important pick, 1st round value. They got him in the 1st round. definitely a great pick.
Here's an end zone lob. That's going to be intercepted.
And with my 10th overall, my 10th top important pick is another pick to the Buffalo Bills, running back James Cook. So their running backs committee was Devin Singletary, and Zach Moss. Right, last season, 2 seasons ago, it was them two and kind of in a timeshare. Last season, Devin Singletary kind of faded out Zach Moss. Zach Moss didn't really do anything last season, and he's probably going to be traded or released coming into the next season. Maybe he might be held. I don't know. James Cook is going to come in and immediately be a change of pace back. He's not going to take the first down back. He's not going to be Singletary's still going to be that guy for at least the start of the season, and just like Pierce is going to be the second back, and Cook is going to get some touches in there, and eventually, maybe not this season, but next season, he's going to be starting running back. I don't see Singletary showing off that much this season, and if he has another bad season, Cook, again, could take a spot this year, and same with Pierce. And this was a very good pick for them in the second round, and definitely going to be a very good pick for them.
Here's a slant to Cook across the middle. Touchdown, walking in, Georgia.
And I have some honorable mentions I'd like to touch on. I'm not going to go back into them. Malik Willis, Tennessee, going to be put some pressure on Ryan Tannehill. We got Jameson Williams to Detroit. Jameson Williams is starting hurt. This is why he wasn't in the top 10. And but he's definitely going to have some value when he comes in playing. You got Detroit Lions with Chark. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Cephas. You got Jameson Williams. And that offense is going to look pretty good, pretty decent when Jameson Williams gets back in a couple weeks. You got Trayvon Walker to Jacksonville. He was first overall. It'd be weird. It would be wrong not to mention him. Trayvon Walker started last season as roughly a second-round value, but then after his immaculate season in Georgia this past season, he managed to get picked all the way first. It was a big difference, second-round value. And it would be wrong not to mention him. And then we got Trevor Penning to New Orleans. New Orleans didn't have that great of a pass offense. They got pass protection. They drafted Trevor Penning as a tackle, and he's just going to come in there. It's tough to say how much of a difference he's going to make. He was very debatable. A lot of people said he wasn't going to go in the first, but the Saints thought so he did. And it's going to be interesting to see how he shapes out with New Orleans. He's a boomer bust for me. He's going to be he can either be really good or really bad. It's tough to say with Trevor Penning. I don't see how he does terrible. I see him being the starter for them. He's a boomer bust for me. And lastly, but not least, we got Breece Hall to the Jets. This was in my opinion, a very questionable pick because they already had Michael Carter. And but now they have a 1-2 punch in there. And like I said, the Jets offense looks so great right now. So I didn't touch on this earlier when I talked about Garrett Wilson. But they got Breece Hall and Michael Carter back there. So nice 1-2 punch. Breece Hall will probably go in there right away and possibly take over that first round back. Carter will still be in there when they're going to be in a timeshare. And they got Elijah Moore, Zach Wilson, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, and then you got Michael Carter back there. They took Sauce Gardner in the first with a 1.3. Definitely not the best defense still, even with Sauce Gardner. But the Jets are going to look scary this coming season, and I wouldn't doubt it if they become a top 10 offense. I don't know if their defense is good enough to become a playoff team, especially in their division. They got the Bills, the Patriots, and themselves. I don't see them in the Dolphins. I don't see them becoming a playoff team just yet. I still think they need a little bit more work on the defense. But give them a couple seasons, and they definitely got it. They have their offense right now. They have one of the best offenses in the league. Could use a little bit more help on the offensive line, but that's not a terrible issue. It's not as bad as the Titans are, the Saints were. They definitely got a great offense, and I'm looking forward to watching them play in the future. So that is it for this video, and looking forward to doing some more videos like this, and that's it for my project.